I believe they were both off-campus housing sites, and I believe that they were in relatively close proximity to the restaurant where she ate, which was actually on 14th Street.
The restaurant was in the 1300 block of Main. Where she went was in the 15th Street area, and they were acquaintances.
Yes.
Did she live alone, or did she have roommates? Anybody know?
She had 3 roommates. It's set up where they each have their own bedroom, and it's part of the reason nobody noticed her gone. I mean, her bed was made like it always is.
Yes, sir.
How did those friends at dinner, or did they characterize her state? Did she seem bothered? Was she?
I don't believe that they characterized her as being in any distress.
Not at all. They had plans for later that night, and she simply left.
Wasn't feeling bad, wasn't sitting, nothing, everything was normal.
There's no indication of that whatsoever.
Yes, ma'am.
And have you talked to the people that held the house parties? What have they told you about what condition she was in? What she was drinking?
That she came on her own free will and she left on her own free will. There was drinking involved, but she was walking, as you saw in the video. She was running. She was able to move on her own.
Yeah, I don't think there's any dispute that there was alcohol consumption. I think the material dispute would be to what extent, and to what extent it might have affected her. And having not made direct observations of her, it's difficult for us to make that leap, other than what we might see in the video. So we're basically going on what we're being told by others who were in her company earlier that evening, and I might suggest earlier that evening. Yes, ma'am.
Have you interviewed anybody who was with her at McGrady's pub, who maybe had interactions with her, and she said she was leaving, or anything like that?
Well, she never entered the pub. She never made it through the front entrance, and the only interaction that we know of is the interaction she had with the person that would, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be the doorman. And we're still in the process of, we've reached out to him, but I don't know that he's been interviewed or that he's recontacted us. But we are aggressively, as you can well imagine, aggressively pursuing him.
You said there was a legitimate reason to perhaps connect the Morgan Harrington disappearance and subsequent discovery of her body and this case. And I know you're not going to speculate, but why would you say that's a legitimate concern or reason to ask that between
Well, both of them occurred within the proximity of the University of Virginia. Both of them were young girls. I mean, it's just that simple. It's the same reason that parents across the country are having those same thoughts and emailing them, and folks in the community are having those same conversations. I mean, it's like, I cannot imagine a more horrifying set of circumstances for a mom or a dad. I just can't imagine it. And so I think people's mind and heart sort of legitimately go in there, and we're investigators. We need to be cautious before we make those leaps, and when we do, make sure we have a substantive basis to make them, and at the same time not take my eye off this investigation. I want to go back to your question and make one point pretty clear, because I'm replaying my answer in your head. When I say we are looking for that person, we are looking to talk to him about his interaction with Hannah that evening. That's what we want to talk to him about. I did not want to suggest anything more than that. Yes, ma'am.
About how many people have you interviewed so far?
Jim?
Dozens, or not that many?
Many more than that, probably 50 people. And that doesn't count the 100 tips we've received in a little over 48 hours.
Chief, why did you decide not to ask the state to lead on this one?
Because we're capable of leading on this one. But we're a finite resource. And I can tell you within 12, 14 hours of receiving this report, I personally got an email from the commander of the Bureau of Criminal Investigation in Richmond saying, I know you've talked to my resources in Appomattox, but anything else you need, you pick up the phone and call. And so I can't say enough. The FBI and the state have both been incredibly generous with their resources because they know we're finite. Typically, when you call in other jurisdictions, it's to add to the. It happens in one or two reasons. You either don't have the competency to conduct the investigation with your own resources, and that is not the case, or you need the additional human assets to do a more efficient job, and that's where we are now.
But has something changed since the Harrington case?
That case was not our case, ma'am. That case was started at the University of Virginia, and then I believe went to the state police thereafter. So I can't speak to that.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Just want to add that I appreciate everybody's patience while we get you the video files if you need them. The email list is here. If you can add your name to it.
Live coverage from Charlottesville as we're getting an update into the search for Hannah Graham. The 18-year-old UVA student has been missing since Saturday morning when she sent a text to a friend after leaving a bar in Charlottesville. Police say they've since received reports of Hannah being spotted in the area of the city's downtown mall early Saturday morning. Authorities are canvassing businesses in that area, hoping somebody may have information. Joining me now live from the newsroom with more on this story is Scott Thuman. Scott, what else can you tell us?
Well, I think there were a couple big takeaways here, Morris. One is that they've put together a pretty detailed timeline, and that, as you know, is crucial in missing person cases. They're able to kind of pinpoint where she was, at what point, what direction she was walking. All of these things can yield more clues because, as you heard, they were demanding if anyone has more surveillance video, they can add it to the list they've already put together and really get an idea for where she was minute by minute, what interactions she may have had with someone else. The other thing they've done is gone ahead and said this is indeed a national search that allows them to call in more resources. But Morris, I think the fact that they can specifically say, we know that she left her friends at 11 o'clock. We know that she walked on 2nd Street at this time. We know an eyewitness spotted her 10 minutes later walking toward the pedestrian mall. Pedestrian mall is a very popular high foot traffic area. For anyone who's familiar with Charlottesville, they know that there would be a lot of people and or cameras in that area. So police calling on merchants, calling on eyewitnesses, calling on anyone who might have seen something and just not realize they saw it. So that's good that they've got that timeline together. But it's also always kind of interesting when you watch these things and you hear that it becomes a very emotional news conference for the police chief to kind of get choked up there at the beginning, talking about being a parent, his interaction with her parents, and saying, by the grace of God, we're going to bring her home.
Hey, and Scott, let me interrupt, because the police chief was also praising the fact that local merchants have surveillance cameras. We're seeing the video now of Hannah, a little bit disoriented, and then they also mentioned, look, we're not saying that she was inebriated or tipsy because we're slamming her character. It's just that this was a very vulnerable girl at this moment who was turned around, wasn't sure where she was, and could have been taken advantage of very easily. But they kept praising how merchants are doing the right thing to have surveillance video. I mean, it really helps in so many investigations, doesn't it?
You have no idea, and I've been intimately involved in some of these cases before, and the greatest tool you can have at your hands is video that will document if someone approached her, if someone talked to her, if a car drove by too slowly and was perhaps looking at her, and you get a license plate. And that is why the police, as you pointed out, Morris, are praising merchants so much here and so profusely, because they want to encourage anyone else who's sitting at home or in their business today and thinks, you know what, I didn't check mine, and in fact, it might have an angle if I hear that she did walk down that street. So it's really crucial that they get the word out there, that everyone can help out. And last thing I'll say, Morris, is a lot of times with these cases, people think, I didn't see anything, I don't know anything, and then they remember, or they see a video and that reminds them, in fact, I did see that girl despite reading about this and not putting two and two together.
Exactly.
So all of this exposure can really help them, and clearly they're at a loss right now.
Scott Thuman with that update from the newsroom. Live coverage here on News Channel 8. Keep it here. We'll have updates throughout the afternoon and the evening. Thanks again, Scott.
Of course.